BS.
Pure propaganda.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all I thought.
And
this is
using our
propaganda.
state for that is nah. This is not the right place for that.
Given that you guys' lips are starting to freeze, I want to be able to cover them up here, so I'll draw this interview to a close. But I always end with the same question: is there anything else you want to add while you have the platform?
ICE needs to leave.
Yeah, they need to get out of here before things get worse for them.
Thank you both very much. I appreciate it, Sean, Mary. And John, if you just want to pivot the camera around just a little bit, I'll talk to camera here just for a moment. I want to point out that so far everybody we've talked to, when we ask them, is there anything else you want to add? They just say, ICE out. They're using it as a platform to just continue their protest. Everybody here speaking with ostensibly one voice, that they want immigration agents out of their communities, out of their city. And you can see here the dozens, it's like 50 plus people. Some of it is media, to be sure. There's a couple of cameras here. But most of it is just protesters who are out here to make their voices heard this morning in these frigid temperatures. You know, last I checked, it was negative 24 with the wind chill. And these Minnesotans are out here to make their voices heard all the same, protesting seemingly undeterred. I mean, I'm seeing icicles form on people's eyelashes out here, on mustaches, on eyebrows, from just the condensation from their own breath freezing against their face. I don't know if I have any on mine. I'm seeing some ice hanging off of John's beard right now behind the camera. Poor John has to hold the camera, the cold metal camera in his hand as we talk here. Luckily, I've seen him set it down on occasion. But I just want to say that if this reporting is important, to be able to show that, as you know, as this administration has been wont to do, to frame the vast majority of Minnesotans are behind the administration's efforts, that ICE agents are the unsung heroes, that there isn't much in the way of anti-ICE demonstration and protest. I mean, I think this is pretty irrefutable out here this morning, that this many people are willing to come out in these temperatures. There is not the mainstream press out here. It's us. It's us and just a few other independent journalists. It's us and just a few other independent journalists out here. So supporting independent media in this. We're getting word that demonstrators are blocking the road here down the ways. You'll notice all this chain link fencing that we're walking past. This is new. This was put up not last night, but the night before. I've been told that it was a combined effort between federal authorities and local authorities. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office doing a lot of the management out here. And all of this chain link fencing is about trying to deter the protesters, not let them get into the street where they've been wont to be, as a way to try at least slow the immigration enforcement efforts that are happening up here. So we were standing outside of one entrance to the Whipple Federal Building. We are walking around to the other entrance to the Whipple Federal Building right now, where we've been told there are demonstrators who are attempting to block the road over there. And I am seeing one sheriff's office vehicle across the road. I know. to demonstrators walking the opposite direction from us, and they're telling us that, yeah, there are demonstrators who are disobedience against the federal government. Holding up, John. Yeah, you see now, just coming into view here, and John will be able to turn the camera in just a moment. And I apologize if our signal's going out. It is the weather getting to our equipment. But we see here demonstrators who are out along, blocking the road here that leads up to the Whipple Federal Building. And the sheriff's office is on a megaphone trying to tell these protesters to get out of the road.
Get off the road.
The arm bar.
I assume this is the sidewalk, right? Okay. Somewhere underneath the... Ah, shit.
People to get off the sidewalk, off the road.
See.
Right there? He put the arm. The arm on the gate.
Not a sidewalk. Get off the sidewalk.
These protesters are chanting, whose streets, our streets. I apologize for the dead air just there. We were having to move a little bit to get out from underneath some train crossing arm bar that would come down to block the road when the local metro system comes across. So here you see protesters chanting, whose streets are... streets. Sheriff's office is repeating its orders to these demonstrators to get out of the roadway. Now chanting Nazi scum off our streets. I mean, now the direct action is starting right now. Okay, I can try and do that. How long have we been down? Okay. Okay. All right. Bye.
Palestine will be free. Palestine will be free.
Oh, we're still down or back?
No, we're back now. But he wants us to not move. Every time we move, we go down.
Yeah.
If we're just coming back now, I apologize for these technical difficulties, but it is so cold that our equipment fails when we move. Our cord that we use to connect the camera to our live equipment is frozen. Frozen in these temperatures, and when we move, that connection goes out because we break that connection in our cord. So but we're going to try and remain a little bit more stationary here so that way we don't have that same connection issue. Though obviously, depending on how these demonstrators, depending what these demonstrators do, we may be forced to move. Or on what the law enforcement response to them is, we may be forced to move as well.
Just let them know that we're going to record anything that happens.
Yeah, anything that happens here, we'll be recording on it. And so this is another good opportunity to remind you to get subscribed to Status Quo and to our partners at the Midas Touch Network, because anything that we do record out of this, if we're not able to be live, will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So get subscribed to us and you'll be able to see all of our reporting here regardless of the technical issues we have with our live streaming ability. So far, the sheriff's office has just been content to get on its loudspeaker on occasion and just tell the protest.
Minnesota's got the ice melt. 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 Minnesota's got the ice melt.
I'll note that the protesters right now seem pretty content to just remain stationary behind their barricades and to block off this one entrance to the Whipple Federal Building, this one approach to it. I'll note that it's not the only approach. ICE agents also use a different road, basically the same road that you're looking at, but from the other direction. It connects into the local highway. And agents are also able to use that entrance and exit. So unless there is a mirror demonstration happening down there,
This road connects up the hill. No worries.
while an inconvenience for federal agents, it certainly doesn't stop them from doing their work. This one roadblock.
blockade has deployed.
Oh, I'm hearing someone who appears to be an organizer of some kind, or at least has a walkie-talkie on him, just told some of the groups here that they're apparently trying to deploy a blockade on the other side of the building as well, at the other entrance to the building that I was just referencing. So the goal is to completely block traffic to and from the Whipple Federal Building so that the federal agents, it's out of this building. The Department of Homeland Security is coordinating all of its operations here in the Twin Cities area. So the goal is to completely block access, and if that's the case, that would severely hamper the Department of Homeland Security's ability to conduct its immigration enforcement operations. Because at least what we had been hearing from some of the people who have been detained by federal agents is that they've been brought to the Whipple Federal Building. So this does seem to be the central place where they are keeping people until they are deported. Now, it's not to say that the federal government couldn't adjust on the fly and perhaps maybe use local jails, etc., if they have contracts with any county sheriff's offices, if those are even permitted here in the state. Or the federal government could try and use other federal offices in the area. But it does certainly complicate the federal government's mission if both approaches to the Whipple Federal Building are blockaded, because this is where you see all of the ICE agents coming and going here. Unfortunately, John and I can't be in two places at once to know if that other blockade is deployed. I'm going to try and talk to some folks around here and see if I can't get some more information and maybe some interviews going here. But we're going to try and leave the camera stationary just to keep the live feed up. John, how you holding up?
All right, yeah.
Is there a zero blockade of this one at the other end? I was just told by some folks who are walking this way that there is not another blockade up the other end of this roadway. While we wait for developments out here, I do want to just note that today is the day of a general strike here in the state of Minnesota, and there's going to be a march and rally as part of that general strike this afternoon at 3 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock Central, where John and I will be going live again from that march and rally. Mercifully, the rally will be held indoors. So we should be able to have a much more comfortable live stream. We'll be able to more freely talk to you back home, and where we won't have some of these same technical difficulties. But please plan to tune in to that live stream as well, where we're expecting labor unions to turn out as many people as they can to the and rally as a way to try and show the state's flex the states of power as a direct protest to the Trump administration.
I've got like 2 sets. Yeah, appreciate it.
Stand up like that! Stand up like that! Stand up like that!
No, mine's good. Yeah, my core is good.
Yeah,
But,
it's just the hands and feet.
Have you been working?
I'm not trying mine right now. Usually Nicole. Can you do it from your phone?
I think I should do it. I think I should. The Palestinian flag?
Yeah.
Why they out with the Palestinian flag?
So they're waiting for the blockade to start over there, and then they probably got to move on.
Crazy, bro. Can't believe this.
JT. Yeah. So we could go and talk to them about the Palestinian flag and how things are.
This is my friend from Scottish School. You've been seeing it reported probably on the streets.
Can I interview you guys about the significance of the Palestinian flag out here?
Sure.
Yeah. John.
How do you all want to be identified?
I'd rather not.
Well, like anything I can call you.
I don't know. Ben.
What's it, man?
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, okay, so
My first time doing this, I was like,
yeah, John, if you want to get the shot there of the Palestinian flag that you guys are holding up here, I'm not sure if you were the ones that painted this to bring it out yourselves, but maybe you could just speak to the significance of why you feel the Palestinian flag is significant, half a world away here in the state of Minnesota and the events that are happening here in the Twin Cities.
The struggle against fascism is global, though obviously not on the same scale as Palestine. We're struggling against the fascist occupation of our city, and Palestine is struggling against the fascist occupation of an apartheid state that's been happening for decades.
Yeah, you say not to the same extent, but what are some of the ways that you see, some of those, that you see some of those similarities? What are some of those similarities that you're seeing?
Complete overstep from agents representing the federal government. No due process, no law. They grab people off the streets, they throw them in cars, they keep them in detention for unknown periods of time or move them to also parts unknown. Just absolutely disgusting, evil, spiteful, petty behavior.
Anything you would want to add to that?
I mean, it's the same fascist government that's, doing all this, right? They're training each other. They're their fight, our fight, we're all just fighting against the same imperial power that just, wants to crush people under its foot for its for the small handful of people at the top, you know? So it's the same fight.
Why was it important for both of you to be out here this morning? I mean, in these temperatures, putting your, potentially your bodies on the line here the way you are, occupying this roadway. Why was it important for you to be a part of this action?
No one's coming to save us. Our state and city government are, they'll stand up and they'll say a naughty word for TV, but they're not going to fucking do anything about it. The police aren't going to help us, obviously. No one thinks that's going to happen. If we don't protect it, no one will.
Yeah, what observation were you just making about the police?
I mean, they're over there. They're like facing us. They're not on our side protecting us from the invading, like, corrupt feds. They're, protecting the feds. They're not protecting us, the people who are getting abducted, who are getting killed on the streets by, some guys out of state, it's insanity.
How long are you guys prepared to be here occupying, this roadway?
Obviously, there's inherent limitations given that it's negative 21 degrees out and it feels like negative 40, but as long as we possibly can.
I mean, my toes are already kind of freezing, but I can stick it, right? As long as we need to be out here, as long as we need to obstruct them and keep them from abducting more of our neighbors. These are our neighbors. We gotta protect them,
And so you feel compelled to do something here, and you are taking this action. So you certainly can't be accused of doing nothing out here. Can I get you to just kind of lay out the geography for people who might not be familiar? Like, occupying this road has what significance?
This is one of the entrances to the Whipple Detention Center, part of Fort Snelling, which ICE has been operating directly out of, and in which people are being held. If they can't move in and out of the Whipple, they can't imprison our neighbors. They can't deport our neighbors. They can't perform their jobs or to the degree that they'd like to.
You mentioned that there hasn't been the leadership from local leadership that you would like to see, the action that you would like to see. What would beyond just saying, we want the ICE to get the fuck out of Minnesota or to get the fuck out of Minneapolis, what would be, to your mind, more concrete action or better leadership that you would like to see your local, your state leaders actually exhibit in this moment?
Not sure. Off the top of my head, I don't have an answer for that essay question. You got something?
Freezing rent would be a big thing, right? A lot of people can't go out and work and get money, and they can't even get groceries. So they're any support directly, and there are direct things that can help people. That's what neighbors are doing. There's mutual aid groups doing what the government should be doing, which is actually helping feed people and keep people in their houses from being evicted. And there's already been progress in that at the city level, but trying to get that to Wilkes. Also keeping feds off of state property, just trying to obstruct at any level the city can, the state can, would be great. And there's been some. From my understanding, there's been some steps towards that, but it's so much more could be done. And of course, we have our own police forces not really doing anything to help, but I guess that's not unexpected. I guess it's just not how it should be. Not how it should be. The police work for us, in this city. They should be protecting us. That is their job.
Thank you both. I'll let you get back to this because I know you've got to keep an eye out here for the authorities. And thank you for talking to me. I appreciate it. At Status Quo, we're not afraid to put ourselves here on the street here with the activists as a way to hear from them in their own words about why they're taking the actions that they are. We're not afraid to take that step. We put ourselves on the line physically, not only by putting ourselves here in the line of fire, so to speak, but also by putting ourselves out here in these weather conditions where you just heard them describing it. It's negative 21 degrees with a wind chill that makes it feel like as low as negative 40 at times, depending on how hard that wind is blowing. We're out here in it. There's no other mainstream press. There's a few other journalists milling about here, but the CNNs of the world, the New York Times, where are they to be found? They're not here. They're not here. So please support independent media in this moment. In this moment, please support us. Help keep us warm. As I said, our hand warmers are sponsored by our generous members. So if you can, go to statusquo.com/join. This is the best way to support the on-the-ground work that we are doing here in the Twin Cities, where we have been on the ground since early December. We've been on the ground here since early December. We didn't parachute in a few days ago, or even a day ago, or even a week ago, or 2 weeks ago, or when Renee Good was killed. We were here on the ground for a month before even Renee Good was killed, showing what the Trump administration was doing here on the ground in Minneapolis more than any other national outlet was doing. And I think the work that we've done out here is spoken for itself. And I'm seeing now more demonstrators just here behind the camera. We have to be careful how much we move the camera because of the effect that it has on our ability to be broadcasting live. But I just want to note that there are more protesters who are now making their way over here and joining the demonstrations here on this end of the Whitwell Federal Building. As I said, there's two different approaches here, and these demonstrators are just occupying the one side.
Let's go talk to that guy with the sign.
Did you mind if I interviewed you?
Not at all. I watch you. Oh my God! I'm geeking out a little bit.
Well,
God, I get to meet you. I've been watching you guys on my fucking fantastic. It's my favorite. First day I managed to get out. I live in the North Suburbs, so I've got two kids and I got shit to do. So.
What's your name?
I'm Dan.
Dan? Would you mind if you came over our camera?
No.
It's tough for us to move it in this cold. So,
all right.
Dan in the coveralls.
Oh yeah.
That is a Minnesota look right there.
Oh my God, yeah.
All right, so
cold. Minnesotans like to play in the cold.
Yeah, we're learning that here today. It is evident.
Yes.
So I'm here with Dan.
Hi.
And Dan, you say this is the first day you've been able to get out protesting.
First day I've been able to get out and protest. Well, since No Kings. I was out for No Kings. I was out for Hands Off. Local things up. I live in Forest Lake. So
a suburb here of the Twin Cities.
Yes, Forest Lake is a suburb about a half hour out of downtown St. Paul. Incidentally, it's where our Secretary of Defense, because it's not the Department of War, graduated from Forest Lake High School, where my children go to school. Teachers that were there in 1999 say he was always an asshole.
Reporting on the ground here from the folks in Forest Lake who can attest to Pete Hegseth's personal affect. All right, so Dan, I want to ask why you made today the day that you came out when it's negative 20 degrees outside. This is the day you decided to come out and protest when there's all this direct action happening outside of the Whitwell Federal Building. Why did you want to be here this morning?
Well, the minus 22, JT, is just a multiplier. That just makes our resolve more real. I came out today because today is the walkout day of protest. It was finally a day when I could get away from the rest of my responsibilities and make a day of it. I would dearly love to be part of mutual aid or any other thing going on in the cities, but I live way the hell out in the sticks. So I kind of had to schedule it. But it was my opportunity, and I'm here, and I don't give a shit about cold.
Clearly not. You don't even have your face covered. You're a different kind of metal.
Oh, believe it or not, I'm wearing cargo shorts underneath the Carhartts. I'm a 365 shorts guy. So,
okay. Well, you
I put out the Carhartts because I'm going to be outside for a while.
Well, you're earning that moniker as a 365 shorts guy today.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, you're living it. I want to talk to you a little bit about your sign that says, every person is a story. Ice out of Minnesota. Can you explain that message? Every person is a story.
So every person, every life is a story that begins at birth and ends at death, and your life is your story. Your story is your life. All of these people that ICE and the Trump administration are fucking over, every single one of those people is a story, and they've had their story interrupted. They've had their story, what's the word I'm looking for? Co-opted by this fucking fascist regime who wants people to do what they want them to do. And these people need to remember that these people that they're hauling off, these 5-year-olds that they're shipping to detention facilities in Texas, that child's story is, the story isn't fucked, the story isn't over, but that child's story is dark. And every person is a story. Every story deserves to be told. Every story deserves its chance to come to its rightful conclusion. To be honest, I was kind of between this message and, hey, Bavino, go fuck yourself. But I figured I'd do something more constructive.
Absolutely. So, Dan, yesterday, Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, paid visit to your home here in the Twin Cities area, used it as a backdrop where he essentially, declared ICE as the unsung heroes. You were just making reference to a 5-year-old who was abducted. J.D. Vance shared that same story, except portrayed the ICE agents who took the child as heroes, that they were rescuing that child.
Savior. They saved that child from freezing in the snow after they chased off his father, who is, incidentally, fact check, following an asylum procedure. He does not have a removal order. He is not even guilty of being an undocumented immigrant. He's guilty of being brown in a state where ICE is enforcing.
So when you saw the vice president come here and speak and use it as a backdrop for his propaganda, what was your reaction as someone who lives here?
Burning crimson rage. I hear J.D. Vance is going to be on, and my pulse starts to race a little bit. And then I watch him, and that smarmy face making just outright lying to demonize the parent of a 5-year-old who is now traumatized and staying in a Texas correction facility. J.D. Vance coming and using that as a backdrop for this is abhorrent. It's atrocious. There aren't words. There really aren't words.
There aren't words. Sorry, and speaking of it, there not being words, it's so cold, it's difficult to think out here sometimes. So, Dan, how long do you said make a day of it. How long do you intend to be here in the streets protesting today?
Unfortunately, I'm only going to be out for a couple hours. I have to go help my wife set up she's got an event tomorrow that has not been canceled, which I think is fantastic. I'm not going to go into too many specifics because I don't want to get people in trouble. Sure. But I need to go help her set up for that so that we can make it as fun an occasion for the kids as possible in this fucking time. So I'll be out for a couple hours. I figured I'd come here because I've seen a lot of this. I mean, I've been steeped in this. I've been watching it. I've been watching everything and just heartbroken that I haven't been able to get out and do anything. So, yeah. Today's my day, and even at that, I only have a couple hours.
When you, with the vice president trying to declare that ICE agents are the unsung heroes out here, I want you to, as someone who sees this not only on the national press, as some people may be seeing, or on our broadcast, but also it's inundated, it's every day. You're probably talking to your friends and neighbors and family about this all the time, and it's on your local news as well. It's everywhere. Can you just describe for folks, really characterize, are ICE agents the heroes the way J.D. Vance framed them? And if not, how are they comporting themselves here in the Twin Cities area?
They are not the heroes. They are barely restrained criminal thugs, barely trained. It's a crowd of Proud Boys, Oath Keepers, 3%ers that they're still wearing the same shit, and they just threw on an ice patch over it. So no, they are not the heroes. They are not making anybody safer. They're not making anybody feel better. Except for, actually, I'll be honest. I live in red country. So there are a lot of people in my like day-to-day life that, well, they may not support ICE. They're like, I get a lot more of the, well, she shouldn't have been there, which is
in response, Renee Good.
Yes. Sorry. I assume knowledge.
Yeah.
But no, ICE are not the heroes.
Dan, before I let you get back to your protest, I always do like to say, is there anything else you want to add that I haven't asked you about yet, or anything you would just want to say while you have the platform?
This isn't well. This is Minnesota. ICE and like our immigrant neighbors having to be in hiding. That's not Minnesota. That's not Minnesota. This isn't America. And honestly, this is the beginning of a fight that's going to last until November. I just want everybody to know it's important to go out, be seen, be heard. This is how we refute their lies. We show up in numbers, and they can't say we're just a fringe. They can't say that we're just lunatic left wing. So get out there, be seen, be heard, so that all those undecideds and unengaged people in the middle know that what the administration says is lies, and we all need to band together and take back power in November, and we need to take it back big, because there are big changes that have to happen in like every silo.
Dan, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah.
Can we take a selfie?
Yeah, of course. Taking a selfie break here at Status Quo. Not something I've ever been asked before during an interview.
Oh my God, I watch you guys.
Good to have fans.
I work. So this whole no one has to take off work to go protest. I work 50 hours a week. I run a saw. I listen to podcasts and I listen to YouTube, and so I get all your guys. I get the Midas, I get the Pod Say, like all that. Yeah. And Carol Evan, all like the locals.
Yeah.
Oops, come on. There we go.
Oh, here, let me.
Oh yeah.
Hopefully my nose ain't running.
Details, because I can just take a picture. Oh yeah, that'd be great. Thank you. Oh really? Awesome. Thank you so much.
No worries. Would you mind talking to me for a little bit? I work with The Economist magazine.
Daniel,
The Economist magazine? Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just watching the right behind what's happening. Would you guys mind standing off a little bit, just a little bit here? I'm just watching what's happening here on the other side of the camera, since we aren't able to really move it because the stream will go in and out. I'm just watching the way authorities are reacting to the roadblock that's been constructed here by the protesters, and I'm seeing that the authorities have been moving they've been moving cars around. We're back to having 3 police cars on the other side of the camera here. We're facing the protesters, which is the amount that was there earlier as well when we first walked up here. For a while, it was just one that had parked itself kind of crosswise across the street here as a way to, I assume, try and block any advance from the protesters if they were to make one. Though I have not heard that they are necessarily attempting to do so.
The other side, people arrested.
John is telling me here that he's hearing from the folks in the crowd that he's talking to, and some of our reporting colleagues out here as well, that there were 2 people arrested on the other side where we started this stream. So a couple of people arrested here outside of the Whipple Federal Building. But I'm just noting that all of the security being provided out here, while there are some, gotta cover my face here again. Well, there are some federal police vehicles that are parked here and nominally keeping an eye on these protesters. A lot of the security is actually being provided by the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office. Hennepin County is the county in which Minneapolis is located. And the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office has drawn a lot of fire from people here locally because they have been acting as de facto security for immigration enforcement agents as they're out on these raids here in the Minneapolis area. That there's even been a number of incidents where ICE agents have called on the Hennepin County Sheriff's Office to clear away protesters so that ICE agents can make a getaway with people that they have abducted. The Minneapolis police have not done the same. So if Minneapolis police are not providing that security and that response to ICE, the fact that Hennepin County is drawing a lot of frustration from the from people out here in the Twin Cities area, and has made Hennepin County already a bit of a lightning rod. The Hennepin County Sheriff is running for re-election, and that has not gone unnoticed by at least some of the activist groups here in the Twin Cities area as well. And they're the ones who provide de facto security here outside of the Whipple Federal Building. It's all Hennepin County Sheriff's deputies, squad cars that you will see up and down this road here that we are streaming to you live from right now. Whew. Only the person who's been in charge of the Trump administration's immigration agenda. In fact, it's been his championing of a lot of the tactics that we've seen here on the ground in the Twin Cities, of things like, raiding like Home Depot parking lots and the like. And he is the one who is really pushing for the Department of Homeland Security to get as high as 1 million deportations per year, or 3,000 per day. And protesters just there were recondensing themselves into the street. Some of the demonstrators had started to scatter a little bit as they were just milling about, talking, and somebody was yelling for them to try and get the group more concentrated in the street. I own that.
Stick figure, yeah, that's not what I feel.
Yeah, organizers here again, still condensing the crowd. By the demonstrators who are blocking entrance to the Whipple Federal Building.
I think that's where you're like 80s, 60s, 40 years ago.
I apologize, I'm not being my normal talkative self. I normally try and keep it so there's no dead air here on these streams, but it is just so cold that it's all I can do to, keep walking around. And that's what I'm doing here behind the camera, is pacing a little bit or moving side to side to just try and keep myself warm. And even just the act of talking, is exhaling a lot of that warm air, it feels like, inside me. I know that's not how it works, but having to take those deep breaths as I'm talking is quite the wears on you. So at least when I'm not talking, I can take shallower breaths and taking in less of that cold air here. Negative 20 air.
That's the difference between you and that, bro. You're a pro. You're a pro. I'm a bullshit ass. You live in this shit, bro. Come on now. Look at this bullshit. I'm fucking Come on.
You done?
I'm getting there. I just kind of want to get my toes a bit warmer again.
Yeah.
So,
What? Hell, they're fucking.
Eyes out now! Eyes out now!
Shall we hold this for just a second? I gotta hand Dan the card.
Eyes out now! Eyes out now!
That'll unlock the door. Press this whole thing against the start button, and it will set up. It's a hook. I don't reply no more. Gotta put you in. 10 seconds. We're done. Let's go in the car until some shit goes down.
And I just took another break there on the microphone because I was handing my keys off to. We're out here with a small group of. We're out here with a couple of other journalists. We carpooled over here this morning, and one of them needed to get back to the car just to warm up a little bit. So I was handing him the car keys. And that's something that we're trying to keep a close eye on. We're all checking in with each other here about how we're holding up physically, because we don't want to push ourselves, beyond our physical limits. We've still got to cover this march and rally later today. And when you're talking about being outside for potentially hours in these temperatures, exposure becomes a real concern. But I've seen the comments. I've seen our YouTube comments. You all are very concerned about me and John. And I just want to stress that we do not push ourselves further than we're comfortable with.
Sometimes we do.
That's John. John making the rare appearance on the microphone. Just to remind us all how crazy he is.
I'm missing fingernails.
Yeah, John, and we should tell that story here really quick, because that was how does today compare to Chanhassen? Because John was out at a construction site. This was back in December. A construction site at a Minneapolis suburb called Chanhassen, where a couple of construction workers had taken refuge on a roof while ice was, literally freezing them out, waiting them to come down, and those men ended up going in ambulances. John, how does today compare to Chanhassen?
I think the only difference today, is because we had the sun. We're lucky. We're lucky that we had the sun out.
Yeah.
I think in Chanhassen that day there was no sun out, so it felt much colder. And I have better gloves now, so
I'm more prepared.
Yeah, John ended up getting not quite frostbite, is what the doctor told you, right? Yeah,
I think it was.
yeah. John's fingers turned black, and then he lost a couple of fingernails as they've been healing now.
Yeah, it's been a month. So December 13th, that was. It's been a month, and I'm just now starting to be able to use my fingers to like tie my shoes and do the basic stuff, you know, get dressed and shit like that.
But and now John is the biggest advocate of any of the journalists out here of telling people to wear proper gloves and to be warm and all of that. And I mean, John was recounting the story again on our way over here this morning, but just talking about how the feeling went in his hands, and he didn't even realize it. It just, they just stopped feeling it. It's not that he felt cold, it's that he felt nothing. And that's what allowed it to get so bad. So now John is very conscious for all of us about making sure that we're keeping our extremities warm. And as I say that, I feel the cold creeping into my fingers, so I'm going to tuck my fingers back into my glove here to grip around my hand warmers that I have in.
Ice gets crushed here, say goodbye! 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 Ice gets crushed here, say goodbye!
What time do you want to pull it?
I don't know how much longer we wait for them to do something here. I don't want to go too much longer, only because I'm starting to feel it in my toes quite a bit.
You want to talk to the organizer?
Yeah, they probably won't tell me anything. I was just talking to, I don't know if you would call him an organizer, but somebody who's got a walkie-talkie here and has been helping corral some of these demonstrators that you see here on the streets. And I was just asking if they had any plans to try and move up, because it affects, how John and I are evaluating our own cold and our ability here to be out demonstrating. Yeah, the amount of time that we're exposed here. And they were just telling me that they don't have any plans to move up. There are some attempts at the other end, I've been told, to try and block the street on that end, but the goal was to try and block both ends and then to just respond as authorities responded. But given that authorities are not doing much and they don't have any plans to move up, John and I will likely be ending the stream here soon, just so that we can also get warm. I was starting to feel it in my toes a little bit finally. Despite my 2 layers of socks, my boots, and my foot warmers that I've got in, it still creeps up on you. So John and I are going to go down to that other end to check out what's happening down there, but because our stream has been cutting out, whenever we move, because again, our equipment is frozen solid and just the simple act of moving it breaks the stream, we're going to sign off now. So I'm going to use this as another opportunity to, one, if you're appreciative of John and I being here on the ground, we're going to continue to be here reporting, but we're going to go down to the other end, check it out, go back to our car, get warm, and continue to keep an eye on this situation until we have to go live again this afternoon in downtown Minneapolis. So again, if you're not, get subscribed. Subscribe so you can see us go live for that rally and march in downtown Minneapolis as the state of Minnesota is now in a shutdown. A general strike as a message against the Trump administration and the tactics that it is using here in this state and the way it is brutalizing people. Get subscribed, but also if you're appreciative of the work that we've been doing, the fortitude that we have shown being out here in negative 20-degree temperatures and as low as negative 40 with the wind chill. Whew. If you are appreciative of our efforts, please go to statuscoup.com/join. Again, the national press is not out here. We saw one, it looked like a national camera. I'm not sure who they were with that they filmed. It was an ABC camera, I'm being told. There was an ABC camera that came out here and filmed a very quick, like, the reporter got in front of the camera and did like a 4-second stand-up that'll likely be on World News Tonight. But then they're gone. They disappeared. They're not out here watching this action. They come out, they record, they use this as a set basically for their reporting, and then they're gone. We stay out here for as long as we've been live. I have not dared to check my phone, to take off my gloves, and to check the time here. But we've been out here for a while. And if you're appreciative of us actually continuing to monitor these situations and do actual on-the-ground reporting, please go to statuscoup.com/join. Independent media is the future. It's the present right now for what is happening out here. And to support independent media, please go to statuscoup.com/join. I want to thank our small but mighty team here at Status Coup. Colin, Michelle, Ty, Jordan, myself, John, behind the camera. Again, I stress everything that I'm doing. If what I do out here in these temperatures is impressive, John's doing it all with a whole bunch of weight strapped to his back and his hands on the cold metal camera. So it's even more intense what he's doing. I also want to thank our partners at the Midas Touch Network for supporting our reporting here on the ground. But for now, in Fort Snelling, Minnesota, I'm JT Siskowski. Talk to you later.
Shit, gang. What's up?
Years ago.
Let me sleep.